Hi everyone, and welcome to the Virgo July 2021 Love Connection reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and meeting-based spiritual coaching services. I am Lauren. Welcome. Now, my apologies for these coming out so late in the month. Hopefully they'll be a little bit earlier next month, but most likely the energy I'm reading for now will take place in August. So, just to kind of give you an idea of this reading, this is one of 3 connection readings I complete for each sign each month. This one focuses on connecting your unique internal authentic self with the unique internal authentic selves of others. So basically we're looking at the energy of love. Obviously this brings in romantic love as well. I also do one that's a spiritual connection reading where we'll take a look at connecting your unique internal authentic self with your external environment. And then we have a self-connection reading, which is taking a look at how well you connect and are aware of your unique internal authentic self. All right, so in addition to that, all of my readings do utilize the Triad of Engagement, which is focusing on the 3 very basic principles, but very important, of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. So we will be talking about those as we get into your love reading here. All right, so I'm going to pull a card to start the reading off, Virgo, which is going to highlight the principle of curiosity. So when we're working with curiosity, we are working with the additional principles, the underlying principles of optimism, openness, receptivity. We are starting to clear anything that we have any barriers we have built around ourselves, our unique internal authentic selves, as we've gone from childhood into adulthood. And curiosity is what helps us take that first step into breaking through that barrier. And that barrier can look like negative thought patterns where we tell ourselves, already done that, already know that this is what's going to happen. I'm not going to continue to be curious or open about this part of myself or this part of my external environment. It can also look like where we become closed to internal growth, where we start to tell ourselves, well, this is just the way we are, this is just the way things are, there's no place for me to express this part of myself. And that is where we can get very disconnected. Now, thinking about the energy of love. Love is definitely a give and take flow of energy. We are looking at, when we talk about love, this is the universal connective life force. It's also when I talk about love, I talk about support as well. So there's going to be times when we have to give love and support to others, and then there are times when we have to receive. And we have to be open to both. And what happens is when we get blocked, it's generally in one of those 2 areas. So for this reading, we're going to take a look at the energy of love and to kind of see where you're possibly being blocked and to navigate around that. So your point of curiosity, this is kind of your overarching theme for love for the next few weeks here, it says ground yourself. And it says, being distracted, unfocused, tired, irritated, and impatient are all signs that you're ungrounded. Now is the time to become centered and allow spirit to help you ground yourself and reconnect with the divine source. And I just love this image of this person with the tree growing up inside them. And I look at this flock of birds flying through as spirit. And there's this element that I'm feeling here. In addition to the message of grounding yourself, that there's this element that that you've been working on something within yourself that pertains directly to the energy of love that is now kind of coming to full fruition. That you've planted a seed, most likely quite a while back, and that it's now coming up. So when we're thinking about curiosity and being open and starting to tear down those kind of protective barriers between ourselves, our internal authentic self, and letting others get close to that, because we're talking about a love connection reading, this is where it's about being curious as to what part of yourself perhaps have you been growing internally? A seed you've been nurturing. And this can be around self-confidence and love. This can be around vulnerability. So kind of imagine as if you had actually planted a seed out in your garden, you had nurtured it, it's now coming to full fruition, and you're afraid that something could come in and attack it. So there's this element too of vulnerability. And in order for the flow of love to stay open and for us to feel in flow with it, we do have to keep in mind that that requires vulnerability on both our part and the part of the person that we're connecting to and sharing a bond of love. So when I'm thinking about ground yourself, and again, opening up to this concept of curiosity, what to be curious about as you start to take a look at yourself in relationship to others. Where perhaps are you, when it says here, being distracted, unfocused, tired, irritated, and impatient are all signs that you're ungrounded. So where are you right now in your interpersonal relationships? Now, this can be a true romantic relationship. This could be even a relationship between you and a child, you and a significant other or family member, or it could be also pertaining to the work world. Where do you feel that you are unfocused? Where do you feel that you're getting kind of easily irritated? Because when we think about the energy of love, there's this quality of sweetness and wanting to be there for somebody else and wanting to support them as much as we get the same from them. And it generally does not involve irritation or frustration or also leaving you feeling tired or depleted. So this is a good point, kind of a good starting point for you to be curious as to where you're feeling this way, irritated, frustrated or tired in relation to your relationship to others. And this could even be where perhaps you have your own business or you have a job that somehow interacts with social media and you're getting exhausted communicating on that level with people. Or at work and you're getting frustrated in the way you type your emails and how you communicate on that level. So it actually comes down to also communication as well. And Virgo, you are a sign ruled by Mercury, which is a sign of communication. And I really am getting that kind of strongly coming through that perhaps it's in how you are communicating that really needs to be reevaluated here this month. And in the process of getting grounded and really tapping into this part of yourself that's been growing, this part of yourself that you have been nurturing, and reconnecting with spirit each and every time you start to sense this irritation between you and another, or this frustration, or that you're exhausted from an interaction with another. So that's kind of your overarching theme starting this reading. Now I'm going to pull some cards where we are going to look at the goodness, something came right out here. So we're going to take a look. So this is where we get to work with the energy of courage. And courage really focuses on bringing you back to your seat of personal power and awareness, because this is where you get a chance to really have the courage to make the decision to take action on your own authentic behalf. And I pulled some cards here to see what the energy is around you and a significant other that you're currently dealing with. So we have the High Priestess, the Eight of Wands, and we have the Five of Wands, yes. So what I'm getting right here, just kind of off the bat, is that there is some type of communication coming in. Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is quick communication. It can also be forward motion. This is kind of where things start to speed up. And we have the High Priestess. So the High Priestess, I feel here, Virgo, is you. The High Priestess really focuses on the energy of knowing that all of the answers lie within yourself. That this is truly that higher knowledge that when you're seeking an answer or seeking an answer to make a decision, that you can go within and be able to connect directly to source, to be able to basically get grounded, to make an educated decision off of your connection to source and intuition. And then we have the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is a card. So the Five of Wands can kind of denote either getting out there, and it's a little bit of a chaotic energy. The fives in general, both in the tarot but also in numerology, denote change, denote a little bit of chaos. It's kind of like breaking things down to continue to build a little better. But the other aspect of the Five of Wands is getting out there kind of in competition. Getting out there with your wand, and you can kind of see in this picture, it almost looks like it's a bunch of guys kind of practicing, right? That doesn't look so much like they're fighting, but more like they're all practicing as who can, with their bow staff or whatever, do better than another. And so there is something here about communication, I feel, around competition, around you getting out there, around, I also feel there's a little bit about a communication that is creating a little bit of chaos. So this can be, and I'm going to pull some clarifier cards here to kind of see what's going on. But just off the bat, that's what I'm getting, that there's this element of you sitting in this place of knowledge, and either you're communicating something to somebody that is creating some kind of chaos, or that you're you're receiving communication that is going to kind of throw you into competition. It's going to throw you into the friendly fray, so to speak. So let me go ahead and pull some clarifiers here. See what comes out. So first I want to see what this Eight of Wands, what this communication or quick action is. But I do feel it's communication here. Clarify the Eight of Wands for Virgo. So this is either communication or action. In fact, actually, as I'm looking at this now, I'm really seeing that so Virgo, I think you've made a decision based on connection with yourself. And it may not be right at this moment. It's maybe coming up in the next few weeks. And this could be where you are communicating this decision and it's creating a little bit of conflict with somebody else in your life. You may be either battling, again, this could be in work or this could be in the home, that you might be in a little bit of competition with somebody else. Now, this could also be that you are communicating your desire to kind of jump into the fray here. So let's see. Let's get some more clarification about the Eight of Wands. What do our Virgos need to know about the Eight of Wands? Okay. Oh, very interesting. Okay. What do our Virgos need to know about the Five of Wands? What is the results? What does our Virgo need to know about the Five of Wands? Oh my goodness. Not taking that whole chunk, but one definitely came out there. And a couple clarifiers for the High Priestess. And then I'll get in and I'll really dive into what I'm seeing here. Okay. All right, Virgo. So, High Priestess. The energy that came out for the High Priestess, which I do feel is you, is Seven of Wands, Seven of Cups, and the King of Wands. So the sevens, now the High Priestess is the number 2 in the major arcana, and the number 2s generally denote some type of decision that needs to be made. Now, when we're talking about the High Priestess, this is really about making that decision from a place of true connection to spirit, true connection to divine source, where we can basically have all the information at our disposal, but we're going off of this deep intuitive connection with Source as we choose to make a decision. Now we have Seven of Wands and Seven of Cups. Seven is in the tarot denote for me a moment of pause where you get to connect with Spirit to kind of see through an area where you're not quite sure if you should either continue to put energy into that area, it's almost like you need to see through a little bit of perhaps the illusion, or you're questioning something. And so you take this divine pause to connect to Source Spirit, to reevaluate. And it's kind of where you can ask yourself that question, is it worth it? Is it worth it for me to keep going? Is it worth it for me to keep putting energy here? So with the Seven of Wands is, I get this feeling that you've been defending something, that you've been defending some aspect of self. And when we think about, having this moment to kind of sit with ourselves, sit with the knowledge of the High Priestess, there is this element of wanting to defend something. And wands denote passion. They denote action. So there's something here about, should I continue to defend something that I want to take action on from a place of passion? And we have the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups denotes options for emotional fulfillment. But it can also be the illusion that there are other things external to us that can emotionally fulfill us before we realize that emotional fulfillment comes from within. That real knowledge that we have a full and overflowing emotional cup just from our direct connection to the divine is really where we need to come from first. Now, this can be a card, again, of options, but it's not really options if we are looking if we're looking at the options as a distraction from feeling at home in ourselves. This is a card where we can kind of get lost in what if I make the wrong decision? What if I choose this cup over this cup and this doesn't fulfill me and it was always supposed to be this one? When in reality, yes, there are many different things out there that can emotionally heighten our experience of our life, but in reality, emotional fulfillment starts from within first. So this would be like us looking at a bunch of different dating options out there and being afraid to commit to one or the other because one might be the one, that one might fulfill me and make all my dreams come true. When in reality, what you should be looking at is, I'm confident and fulfilled in myself. Now I'm just going to go out and trust that as I interact with others, as I interact with each of these options, I get a chance to see what best complements me. Not coming from the opposite where if I choose this person, I might not be emotionally fulfilled. I hope that kind of makes sense here. And then we have the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is Leo energy. It's the energy of what I like to call the CEO energy. This is the energy of kind of coming in. It's a person who acts from a place of passion. They tend to act really on their own behalf. So this is somebody who is not going to get lost in the should I defend this? Is this really gonna provide me with emotional fulfillment? Instead, they know. This is like the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musks, the Jeff Bezos. This is that person who is just gonna keep pushing. They know their passions, they're in touch with themselves, they know what they're good at, and they don't really care what other people think. They don't often stop to wonder about these two things. And that's really where I feel like with this kind of High Priestess energy coming in, that you're finally getting past these questions. You're finally getting past this to realize, no, I should defend myself. I should defend my passion. I should defend the actions I'm taking on behalf of my passion. And heck yeah, I'm starting to realize now that this is an illusion and that the emotional fulfillment comes from within, and that you're stepping into this power position, this position of stepping up into the King of Wands, where you are kind of owning your CEO power. And you're starting to, I think for you guys now, whatever this is here, that you felt some passion, some action you wanted to take, something that provides that feeling of I am working from a place of passion. You now are deciding on what that is, and you're communicating that. Because what I see here is you have the Queen of Coins and you have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Queen of Coins is a card that denotes you know where to put your energy. You know what you want to invest in the tangible world. The Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is not going to be the one who gets distracted and just wastes her energy or her time, or gets ungrounded. She is going to be incredibly grounded. She's actually the epitome of that really stable earth energy. And I think what I'm seeing here, combined with the Wheel of Fortune, which is also movement, it's also, the Wheel of Fortune combined with the Eight of Wands, this is a lot of forward movement. And this is also showing me that what you're deciding to focus on here is working with destiny. And when we talk about courage, courage is where we get a chance to take action from a place of free will to meet destiny. Now, what I'm seeing here for you, especially in relationship to another, is that there is this decision that's been made internally. You are now communicating or quickly acting on what you want to invest your time and energy in. And that is what is going to get this Wheel of Fortune going in your favor. But at the same time, it's going to create a little bit of chaos. It's going to involve you having to get out there and work with your passion, which is the Wands. So it's you taking this passion and getting out there and working with it, but it's also requiring you to walk away from something. So the Eight of Cups is a card of emotionally walking away. It's where we realize that what we have in front of us, although it may seem great on paper, it may seem good to other people, we know that there is more out there. We now know that this is kind of, for me, this card represents the lessons learned. This is actually learning that lesson. So we have the Seven of Cups moving to the Eight of Cups. This is a lesson learned that emotional fulfillment doesn't come from the outside. And once we learn that, we're able to realize we always have our cup in hand. And we can walk away from all of these options in pursuit of our Ten of Cups, in pursuit of our true wish and emotional fulfillment, but in a way that is authentic to us, to walk away now with the knowledge that I only have what I need in my one cup that I carry with me, and I can turn my back on the illusion of everything else, basically, that might provide emotional fulfillment. So what I'm feeling here for you with your connection to another, or to your, I think, interpersonal connections in general, I get this feeling that you're kind of almost stepping into this energy of declaring to the world, this is who I am, this is what I'm investing in, and it's leading you to a place where you are able to, yes, it's going to create a little chaos. This could actually be where, if it's in a family setting, you're letting your family know that you're investing in something new. Or, kind of coming back to this point of curiosity, perhaps there's been something that you've been growing and nurturing within yourself. You have been this Queen of Pentacles, but you haven't quite told anybody about it yet. You haven't quite expressed it. And now you are. Now you're in that place that you've made that decision. You've realized I've grown this into something so much more, and I want to follow it. I want to take action towards this. I want to communicate from this place. And it's going to really get the wheels spinning in your favor. But it is going to require a little bit of a shakeup. And it's going to require you, I think, walking away from something that perhaps seemed like it was going to be emotionally fulfilling. And now you have to release that to be able to then step into this energy of the Three of Pentacles, which is the building energy. This is building in the tangible world with others and I find it interesting because it's about pentacles, but there's this element of building from a place of creativity. In the traditional tarot, it's shown as kind of an artisan in a cathedral meeting with his patrons, and they look like they're discussing what's coming to be. And there is that quality to the Three of Pentacles about building something from a place of creativity, but sharing that with others. You're not just building on your own, you're building with others. And so there is this element here of either leaving something to get into the fray to start building, or there is something here about just, it's going to be a little chaotic. Change is coming. And it's going to mean that you have to move away from something to really start to build a new foundation from a place of creativity. I'm going to see if I can get any more messages here. I really just get that. I'm actually going to get just a couple more clarifiers here for this Five of Wands. Anything else for this Five of Wands? I really think, Virgo, for you guys, you are really stepping into a seat of power. And there's this quality, though, it's an awareness that you are stepping into this place of being the CEO in your own life. Whether this pertains to your family and this is just saying, hey guys, I really want to change up the family dynamic. I want to go back to work. I want to, whatever it is, it's about coming from a place where you are able to communicate clearly and not from a place of frustration or anxiety. Getting back to this point of curiosity as to where is this irritation in general when you're communicating with others. Because as we're looking at love, we're looking at our interpersonal relationships. It is love that connects every interaction we have, even down to us having a short interaction with a stranger in the grocery store. But there's this quality to this that you're being asked now to really ground yourself in that energy of love, to be able to have the confidence to come out as your strongest self, to really step into that Leo energy. That's why, when we think of Leo is like, the lion heart. It's courage. And that courage, you really need to use that to take action, right? To express yourself, to express what you really want to follow, to take action. And that's really what the King of Wands focuses on, because it does take a lot of courage to express and act from a place of passion. That's why so many of us choose not to do that. So many of us choose to follow just the stable, especially Virgos. You are a mutable sign, which means you guys are very adaptable to change, but you are also signs that are highly, you guys are the kind of sign of perfection to a certain extent. And sometimes you can get stuck in if it's not perfect, I won't communicate it. If it's not perfect, I won't take action towards it. And that can hold us back. That can really hold us back from just being able to show our true authentic self. That can hold us back to the point where we've been nurturing something to full fruition and bloom, and it's already producing beautiful fruit, and it's already healthy and alive, and everybody wants to see it, but we still have a couple more areas to prune and still working on this and that. And what I'm seeing here is that if you can step up into that place of courage and become grounded and understand really why in certain interactions with people recently and moving forward, you feel drained and you feel frustrated and you feel irritated, and to see why. Most likely it's because you're holding yourself back from expressing yourself authentically. You're holding yourself back from kind of letting them know the decision you've made. Like, this is the decision I've made. Putting my time and energy here, and I'm getting the ball rolling. For fear that it's going to involve a little bit of chaos, change, and perhaps you having to walk away from something as you start to build something new. But that's not a bad thing, because what's lovely is that what you're walking away from could be options that were not meant for you. This isn't like you have to declare something to your family and then walk away from them. This is simply stepping into your seat of power to declare, this is what I would like to do. And I'm not going to keep wasting my energy maybe focusing on these 3 things that I've been doing up to this point, and I'm going to just focus on this one area. I'm going to realize that my cup is full from within. I don't need to be, let's say you have a family, I don't need to be the head of, I don't need to be the assistant coach to my kids' Little League team, as well as the head of the PTA, as well as, trying to work this side job. I just want to work my side job. Or I just want to actually no longer work, and I really want to just focus on the family. Whatever it is, it'll be different for each one of us, but whatever that decision is that you're making, you're clearing the way to start building. Now that building is going to change things up. It is going to change up that energy, because now you're going to have to get out there and kind of play around with your passion. It's also going to be where you maybe now have to start building in a different way. Maybe this is you saying that you want to work with different people. Let me just see if there's any other, before I get your final card here, I'm going to see if there's any other clarifier cards for the 5 of Wands. Dive into a little deeper what you might be moving towards. I'm also coming through really strongly that perhaps some of you are, fearful that if you express what you want to invest in, express this part of yourself that you've been growing, basically stepping up into this person, into this new version of yourself, that you're almost afraid that you're not going to be able to continue to build with others, that it's gonna force you to have to walk away. And I'm getting this feeling of, no, it's not the case. I mean, it is sometimes the case that we do have to, make a hard choice. But I get this feeling, oh, okay, I knew it. I knew this was going to come out. Ace of Wands. And what I was just about to say is that sometimes what we don't realize is that when we finally step up into our true power, we share our true authentic selves in a vulnerable way with others, whether this is in your workplace, whether this is with your family or your significant other, that what we fear is going to happen, which is I'm gonna have to walk away from something, or they're not gonna accept me for who I am, and so I'm ready for the chaos, I'm ready for the battle, that in reality, it's actually the seat of inspiration. It's the seat of a new start. It's the wand of creativity and passion. And what you'll realize is that instead of this kind of tearing apart everything that you've built up to this point, or ruining the relationship that you have with somebody, instead it builds it stronger. Instead, you have the ability to maybe go back and to start to build anew with this person and with your fresh, emotional, fulfilled cup. And that's where the true spark of the divine comes from. So the Ace of Wands is just that. This is the gift of your eternal flame. This is your wand. This is the wand that you would take into the fray to test. So that's what all these guys are doing. All these people here are working with their passion, their magic wand. It's kind of like if you think about Harry Potter and everybody had their magic wand and everybody's gifts were different. Well, that is just like what we are gifted with by our eternal flame from the divine. Each one of us is different. A complete singularity. Our magic wand, our flame, our eternal flame is completely unique from everybody else's eternal flame. And in being able to really express what you're investing in and moving towards that is going to help spark, it's going to help you see and work with that flame of yours and realize that no, there are people around you who want to build with you. But it's time now to build from that flame. And I think so many of you have been pushing that aside, have been I don't want to see that. I don't want to work with this passion. I don't want to, it's too scary. Again, it might create too much of a change. I might not be accepted by this other person. And now it's almost like all bets are off. It's time to take off the mask and show who you are. And in doing that, that's what's going to get you back to this place of working with your passion. That's what's also going to get you, I mean, that's what the King of Wands works with. The King of Wands works with his passion, with his wand. And so it's really going to strengthen that CEO kind of, this is me, this is what I'm going to do, and I am going to do it. Now, for thinking about the energy of love, we are not going to communicate this in a way where it is harsh and in your face and take it or leave it. It's more about stepping into your full power of, look at the beautiful individual I am. And I know now where I want to invest. And I feel that this is going to be within my best interest and move me forward, and it's showing in the cards that it will, and it's going to lead to you building anew with others from a place of passion. It's going to actually ignite this passion as you start to get out there and live and take action as this new version of self, as this new empowered version of self. And it's going to heighten every interaction that you have with others. It's not going to tear it down. It's only going to make them stronger. All right, so I'm going to get one last card. Cards are just coming right out for you. So you got two cards. So these are for contemplation. So contemplation is the final principle in the Triad of Engagement. It focuses on integration, learning lessons, learning from the consequences of our actions. So we're courageous, we take the action on our behalf, and then we get a chance to see what happens. And this is where we get to learn. This is where we grow, where we evolve, where we make sure that we don't get stuck in stagnation, because we are learning. We're constantly self-adjusting. We're constantly taking a look at, like, okay, I did this, what happened? Perfect. Now what am I going to do? How am I going to release another part of myself into the external environment? So we have TikTok, number 30, and we have the Observer, number 49. Breaking down, so this breaks down to a 13, which breaks down to a number 4, and we have the number 3. Now, just in seeing these two, I really feel for you guys that there's this element of TikTok, timing. Kind of that the time is now. Now, this card actually in this deck doesn't just represent now is the time. It actually talks and speaks to the fact that we are focused on time because we are beings that have a limited amount of time, but that we also have to understand that time is beyond us as well, that we don't really understand the full scope of time. So it's kind of like everything in its rightful time, along with the time could be now. And with the Observer now, I really feel like there's this quality of you guys have been sitting back, you've been observing, you've been kind of waiting, you've been holding back, and it's almost like you've been waiting for something from the divine to come in, and I feel like somebody has been watching you. There has been somebody watching you. And that's what could prompt this communication. That's what could prompt this movement here, is that there is somebody who has been watching you and they're going to come in now. And that really, for you to take advantage of this Wheel of Fortune energy with this communication and this action, that you're going to have to do it now, that the time really is now. So when we're thinking about contemplation in general, perhaps is there somebody that maybe you've been observing? Maybe you've been the one observing somebody else and you've been trying to not say anything or do anything or rock the boat, but you feel like now is the time to communicate. And now this is why you feel irritated and frustrated, because you want to communicate. Or is it the opposite? Is there somebody who has been watching you and they're the ones communicating to you? And you have to make that decision now. Do I act on my own? It's prompting you to actually have to become introspective, to take a look at what really is my passion. Is it worth it for me to pursue it, to defend it? And really, what are my options? And what are my options if I know that I can emotionally fulfill myself? And that will clear the way for you to make the decision to step finally into this true place of personal power. All right, Virgo, I hope that this message has been illuminating. I hope you get a chance to check out your other readings for the month, and I look forward to reading for you in August. If you'd like to book a personal tarot reading or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. Bye, Virgos.